Let's just start here. I came to Arizona for love. Because I was in love with a woman and didn't want to give up that love because I wanted to do the right thing. But in the back of my heart and mind, I always knew that if I was going to ever prove that Alexis is the one that was responsible for this hacking, whatever reason it might have been at the time, that I would have to stay with her, or else I wouldn't figure it out. And then I'd be left in a situation under the control of more malicious people, I'd say. And what I think is that we moved out here and it was part of Alexis's plan. Her and the guys that I know that were involved, it was all part of their plan, I think, to get me out here. And it would be easier for them to have me set up, killed, or something else. Right away, it started the first time I went to the casino and won a jackpot and met some people there. Later on that night, after meeting the lady to talk about tattoos, exchanging numbers, I received messages from her, and I assumed it was Alexis right away. There was no answer to the phone calls, and just seemed suspect. Alexis was staying with me every night at Marcus's house, a room I was renting in West Phoenix. Still trying to set me up every day. Horrible. The first thing that I noticed was the Uber card was gone. I ordered an Uber debit card, never got it. I knew Alexis had been up to some shady credit card shit in the past because one time she came home with a prepaid credit card and gave it to me, and it had her name on it, Alexis Vasquez. And she was like, here, instead of using cash, use this, and I'll put the cash away so you don't spend it all. I said, okay, that works. There was only $70 on there. All right. I thought it was good financial planning, I'll blow money fast, so. Then it hit me. I said, wait a minute, where'd you get the card? Oh, I got it from work. They gave it to us. It was a gift from our manager. I said, well, how's it got your name on it if it's a prepaid card? Because in order to get your name on a prepaid card, it has to be registered. And they can't register a prepaid card in your name and submit your social security number. That's illegal. So that was that. I knew something was shady up then. This is in Michigan, Lansing. One time when I was doing laundry, I left the card in some pants and it fell out, and the laundry staff found it. And they kept it, and they told her, hey, we got your card up here, come get it. She didn't want to go get it. She didn't want to take possession of it. You can figure why. Now, when we got out here, same plan. I'll give you the money, and you let me hold one of the credit cards. Because we pay all of our bills with the credit card, we get points for, and we get cash back at the end of the year. So that means all of the bills that we've been paid, she's going to get cash back for. She owes me some of that. In addition to that, I knew from my boss out at Valleywide, Tom, that she had said, or somebody had said something to him about me using illegal substances again. That's when I knew she was up to her own tactics, and that made me want to use more. That made me want to heighten the contradictions. I said, okay, let's do it. And it's always baffled me why she's so against me using, because I was high when she met me. I was high when she fell in love with me. I was high every day that she knew me, until she knew I was high, and then it was a problem. And it's not high, it's self-medicating is what it really is for me. It's not the way I want to self-medicate, but it's the only way I have. So we get out here, and I find out that our leasing staff person, Lydia, happens to be new. Just started working here about 2 weeks before. And everybody always knew that I would say, Usually it's the first place that I look at ends up being the place that I rent or buy. It's been the case everywhere. But I said it a lot. Trying to push it out there, hoping that the right people will hear and they can make the conditions right that we can entrap these people. That's kind of what happened. My environment here is designed in a way that minimizes the way they can affect me, but maximizes the way that we can affect them. The leasing office here was under construction still, which is a great thing. And our relationship with Lydia was cool. It's like a homegirl, you know. Um, and I would go down there to the leasing office every day, and every couple of days, hi, how you guys doing? Because I'm a social worker, I'm an extrovert, and Alexa would tell you, you're down at the leasing office all the time. You're down there all the time. How the fuck do you know that? How do you, I've been down there like twice, 3 times a week, you know. But she knew. I suspect that she might have thought I liked somebody down there. Not true. Nobody. Never tried to hit on anybody down there. I don't think I ever shook hands with anybody. I've hugged Lydia. That's it. Um, when the leasing office opened up, I remember right away they started having Wi-Fi problems. Originally, Morgan had told us that she was going to give us access to the Wi-Fi, but she had to sign it in. I made a joke like, "Oh, I'm going to put a keylogger on." Then she couldn't log into her device. She was having problems. And go figure. I think it was Alexis because one, I think that they suspected I liked Morgan, um, and that would be because I said I didn't like her. That would be because I went to a further extent to be social with her because I think initially that she had a prejudice against me, the way I looked, which was unfounded, but that was a stereotype I had about white women, and so I wanted to take that extra step to like, hey, let's neutralize that, and they misinterpreted that, and so that's why Morgan's device I think was hacked. Um, I hope that was August 4th. So I just noticed recently when I was down at the fitness center that the Wi-Fi down there to connect with the devices is a Cox Wi-Fi. And recently here at the apartment, when Alexis turned off the phone number that I had, the 734-730-7994, which coincidentally was tied to a lot of my accounts, and she knew that, and it's locked me out of things. For instance, Uber. I knew that when that got cut off, she cut that line off. That was the only Wi-Fi I could sign into. It was the only way I could get anything, any information. So I signed into that Wi-Fi, and it just made you register, and that was that. I'm just like, okay, it's somebody's Wi-Fi. It's a public Wi-Fi. They got public hotspots. So that's what I thought it was. And it turns out I don't think that's what it was. That was probably the Wi-Fi here, making it look like I'm hacking it. But it's kind of dumb for her to be trying to make it look like I'm a hacker, because that shit ain't happening. When I was working at Valleywide, I remember I started getting all these advertisements and emails to take cybersecurity classes, and I could start school for free and all this shit. And at first I was going to do it. I even called them up. And I was like, man, yeah, this sounds interesting because, then I could learn this shit and I could, prevent it from happening. But then it occurred to me, well, fuck, it's already happening. And if I learn this shit now, then that's just going to validate everything they do, because they're going to be able to say, look, he knows how to do this shit. Despite whether or not I, have for years told everybody that, no, I don't know how to do this shit. Everybody's known that. It's funny because they find all these writings, I got these logins and, the women I've been in my life, the shit that I've had written down, and they try to say, look at all this shit that this is how he does it, this, and I'm like, that's fucking retarded, man. There's so many different agencies that know that's not the truth. I'm not writing that shit down so that everybody can know how I do it, or I'm writing it down because shit changes. I can't capture. I take a screenshot, the shit's edited. I try to record shit, shit's edited. So I can't ever capture anything in a way that's, retains that fucking chain of custody and uncompromising. So I write everything down. Fucking journals of this shit. Look at this. A lot of that shit really is from prison and from the logistics I developed working in the supply chain industry and with Amazon. So most of it is. But spattered amongst it is a lot of that stuff, that information. And I became hip to, what's exposed to me and why it's exposed to me. For instance, if Alexis leaves her laptop open and I can see all of her all of her passwords and her usernames, yeah, I'm like, ooh, jackpot. Let me hit these. They'll leave a couple in there that they know I can't really, know about. And I'll write them all down and access them because I know that's what they want. But I want it as evidence. Then I realized, all right, well, shit. All these usernames and passwords are not really relevant to nothing. The only thing that is the ERC Nwisen login, which didn't have a saved password. All the important shit, the hacking related shit and the other shit that she's up to, doesn't have a saved password. So when I looked it up, I found out that, it's an employee retention credit. Something you get from, working for maybe somebody that had a PPO loan or a business during COVID. And so I asked her, hey, well, you know what this is? She's ERC. She goes, what's that? I was like, employee retention credit. Oh, I don't know what it is. Okay. Well, in my mind, well, that's not your login then. In the past, when I found shit in her data, like my information, my device connected her iPhone, my phone number logged in on her accounts, she always say, oh, I didn't do that. The hackers must have did it, but she won't do nothing about it. Of course. That's when I seen the ERC. That's when I started getting on the PPO shit. That's when I started thinking about, all right, what would make her want to do this to me? It's not because I'm fucking any other women, because I'm not. I'm not cheating on her. What would make her want to do this? Started thinking back all my experiences. What happened, where I was at. When we were fighting, she went with Elena Webster, and they created all these text messages and sent them to my boss, making it look like I was sexually trying to, get at one of my employees. I told my boss, man, that's not true. And we ended up finding out it wasn't from another employee. We didn't find out how, but I knew that was pretty much it. So then we got, that's right there. That's proof that Alexis will do this shit with, the text messages and make it look like you're doing shit, saying shit you're not doing. Wasn't recently until I really found out how she's doing it with the 18 account and everything, syncing, phone numbers, having control of data transfer, restore tools, the cloud, back up all my messages to the cloud. So if I'm asleep, she could do all that stuff and make it look like I'm sending shit and then back it all up to the cloud and save some of the messages and then restore all the ones that are, not bad back to my device. And, or she will restore them after I get arrested or something happens. I've seen the call logs and text logs. There's hundreds of fucking calls every minute, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But there's nothing on her device, and it ain't me, it ain't her. So I used to think it was the RTT or some way that she was hacking my device to listen in or something. But it could be also that, she's trying to use that to say, look, he calls me and bothers me at work and da-da-da. Bullshit, not happening. Plenty of proof, of where I was at and what I was doing. Seen one screen recording recently that made it look like I was doing something on my device, but you could hear me zipping up my zipper, using keys and unlocking the door, but it shows the little recording screen up at the top that has a picture of me. I'm like, okay, that's fake. That's fucking doctored. That audio don't match the fucking video. How the fuck am I holding the phone, typing, and pulling up my zipper, taking a piss, and fucking opening doors and locking doors at the same time? It's the details they don't think about. They ain't got poker faces. That's what it is. So I had about 4 or 5 different IDs in Michigan, from California, which in an old identity, from Florida and Iowa. They all came up missing while I was dating Alexis. And I assume that little Pelon that passed away, that they had used those to create a company, an LLC in my name, and get PPO loans. And she benefited from that. How they did that, and to set me up and make me look bad, is with my sister and my mom's assistance. My sister's a master hacker because my sister and my mom stole my dad's pension and life insurance policy that was supposed to go to me. So, fuck Gusto. Let's keep everybody on him, monitor his data and his shit, make sure he can't access anything. When he starts to use, then we'll set him up. We get him caught up, we discredit him, he's fucked. They get away with everything. I had to do so much to tell people that it wasn't me. So much. I'm not even going to get into that. Let's just get to some facts, all right? Most recently, the Uber shit, all right? Alexis went and registered the Lexus that was in her name that I paid for as a commercial vehicle. I believe that she went down to Casa Grande to do it because it's possible that they have somebody working at that, registration place that would say I'm the guy that went in there and did it. What's really good to know is that I actually went to visit my homegirl Leah and that day, and there were agents outside. And at first I thought that they was trying to make it look like I was up to something, like I was doing something, like I was selling drugs or some shit like that. That's why I was there. But then now looking back, no, my whole fucking location was messing up that day. I even told, Alexis, like, man, my location messing up, showing I'm somewhere I'm not, as I'm trying to get directions. And now I understand why. They were trying to make it look like, look, here's his location, here's he is. We got a witness saying he went in there registered as, commercial vehicle. But we also have agents that seen the car and were scratching their head going, damn, he's in it deep. His car's right here. We just seen him hop in, walk inside, hobbling inside. So, go figure. So they try to do that, and they create this whole Uber shit. The Uber thing is sick, bro, how they got it. This is insane. So my Uber account became an Uber Black account, which I thought Uber Black just meant like you got premium rides, because I remember it says I qualify for premium rides sometimes. And I thought that's what Uber Black was, like, And then I didn't know it was a concierge service or shit like that. And it had to be a black car because my car's not black. It's midnight blue. And I remember actually that my car originally was the only option for blue that they had was like a powder blue, So it would look like that, but nobody would recognize the car when I would go to pick them up. So I think I might have changed it to black at one point, but then when I actually spoke to them, we got to change to midnight blue. No, I didn't change it to black. I put it to midnight blue. Yeah, that's how we did it. We did because I only spoke once to them about that. We changed it to midnight blue, and I had to actually call them to do that. I couldn't do it in the app, which is also interesting. So they use that to control my accounts, the Uber debit card, everything, make it look like I was doing shit I wasn't doing. And I remember I got the messages from a concierge operator that started making me start looking at it, So, man, these motherfuckers really got me set up. You know that? They really making it look like it. So my philosophy of hiding the contradictions and shit that I knew that could be proven not true. For instance, I met a drug addict, and I told her that I used Uber as a pretext to run around town. And I knew she was a confidential informant. I knew because she was sent to me. And, of course, that's one thing they're going to use. Second thing is the evidence and the shit that, she has, of that she created. She has control of the accounts. They have control of the data so they can do anything. It's my migusto2021 at Gmail that she has hacked and is fucking running everything. Because that email is connected to my Chase bank account, which was hacked. All this shit going to Google Phantom, for cyber this, cyber that. And it's not, it's for casino chips. Then we had, she kept telling me, close that account. You should come to Navy Federal Credit Union. I always wanted me to join the credit union. I know why, so she could fucking more make it look easy, like I was up to shit. That's what they do. They got Sherelle Hobbs into the bank, working at the bank in Wells Fargo in Des Moines, Iowa. They got her at the bank out here. They had that one chick out in Walker, Michigan at the Chase Bank that fucked up the credit card. So they'll have, there'll be two credit cards in your shit, but when you look at your accounts, you only see one because they got your shit hacked. They set it up. They'll set you the fuck up. Make it look like you fucking doing all types of shit with that account. It's horrible. You know? This is just some facts I wanted to spit real quick. This is crazy. When I started telling people about, and I knew this because a few people told me, when you get at anybody you talk to, she sends them a message with a link to a fucking, a profile about you that's just talking shit, a bunch of fucking doctored ass shit. And so I met a girl here at the pool and told her about Alexis and the shit she did, and she gave me her number. And guess what happened? Alexis fucking sent her some shit. And guess who that girl? She don't live here. Busted. So then they started getting at me with a bunch of other shit. All right, do this, do that, do this, do that. Everybody wondering how the fuck they're communicating to me. Not telling. Everybody want to know because they get nearby. Anybody that gets nearby me can listen in, has control of the devices, whatnot. Ain't happening, We know this. Last night was a good setup because we Google searched Alexis' name and we seen that she had been arrested, but we couldn't find any information. So, right away I texted my sister, Alexis got arrested. You gonna tell me the truth? And what happened? The Wi-Fi cut off here. Now I'm on my boy's Wi-Fi. They had this shit looking like it's his Wi-Fi, but it's not. It says Max. It's not Max. So that pretty much proves, my sister's involved. I know they got that end. We got Lydia here, man. I can't believe her, man. I'm sitting there talking to her and fucking Alexis is fucking texting her. That's how Alexis, I'll be sitting there talking to somebody and Alexis will start texting them saying, nothing, don't believe, no, that's a lie. She did that with Elena when I was on the phone with her. Horrible. And the fact that these people are fucking texting you, like, knowing what we're talking about, that should say enough. Like, why? What could she say or do to convince Lydia to help her set up somebody that's not guilty? That's fucked up. They had to do some shit, man. They had to do some shit.